Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the bishops of GMS who rules well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Anah. I'm back. I'm going to do a quick video basically about this, what you see here, united we stand, divided we fall. I'm coming to you through the spirit with faith. I hope you get some type of, edification from this video. So we just go ahead and get into it. So basically, I drive around a lot and I see this the words united we stand, divided we fall a lot, American flags all over the place. So I started thinking about it. I just started thinking about it basically. So and what I thought about was Nomen Omen, because if you look at the title of the video, it's called uh United they stand, divided they will fall. Because that's gonna be that's part of the reason why this great kingdom, Babylon the Great, will fall. Because it's a kingdom divided against itself. Right? So we're just gonna get some scriptures and some articles about it. It says, "United we stand, divided we fall," from Wikipedia. It says, "United we stand, divided we fall" is a phrase used in many different kinds of mottos, most often to inspire. I'm sorry, one second. All right. Yeah, I had to make sure I pulled that up. Anyway, it says, "United we stand, divided we fall" is a phrase used in many different kinds of mottos, most often to inspire unity and collaboration. Its core concept lies in the collective notion that if individual members of a certain group with binding ideas, such as a union, a coalition, federation, or alliance, work on their own instead of as a team, they are each doomed to fail and will all be defeated. The phrase is often referred to with only the words "United We Stand." And me personally, I don't really see just the "United We Stand." I always see United We Stand, divided we fall. Like I said, which is somewhat of a nomen omen, in my opinion, because that's exactly what's happening right now in the world. We see that we got red versus blue states. You just search it up on Google right quick. 2024, current year that we're in. Okay, so it's not searching with that definition. Let's with that question, let's try a different one for Texas. All right, so this is one part. It says, as of today, 14 states, including Arkansas, Florida, Iowa, Idaho, Nebraska, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming, have stepped up to support Texas' effort and deploy personnel and resources to secure the border in President Biden's absence. Right. So basically, what's happening with that is you have a certain number amount of states, it's actually more than this, that is on sides with the governor of Texas, and they have some their personnel, like basically the militia of the state, the National Guard of the state, whichever standing force they have for that state, have they sent over to Texas to help in the border crisis that they call a crisis, right? And then you have other states. Yeah, here we go, right here. This is Georgia.gov. It says 27 state coalition, and we just read that word, supporting Texas border defense barrier. So you got a certain amount of states for what's happening over there at the border, and you got a certain amount of states for Texas. So it's basically a group of people for Texas and a group of people for basically Biden. So that alone is a separation. That is divided, they will fall because that's what's happening. They're not agreeing. They can't come to one conclusion about what they want to do regarding this new world order that the governments are trying to implement, right? So anyway, it says like this word right here, such as a union, coalition. We just read that. Confederation, alliance, work on their own instead as of a team, they are each doomed to fail and will be defeated. The phrase is also often referred to with only the words "now that we stand." Like I said, I didn't see that. This guy has some Bible scriptures which I got them pulled up. We'll get them soon. It says use in U.S. history. The first attributed use in modern times is to the founding father, John Dickinson, and his pre-Revolutionary War song, "The Liberty Song," first published on July 7, 1768, in both the Pennsylvania Journal and Pennsylvania Gazette newspapers. In the song Dickinson wrote, "Then join hand in hand, brave Americans all. By uniting we stand, by dividing we fall." Once again, nomen omen. Pretty much since the beginning of their conception or whatever. They have been saying, "United we stand, divided we fall," which they was always doomed to fall. Divided. As we're gonna get into the scriptures and as they point out. It says Patrick Henry used the phrase in his last public speech given in March 1799, in which he denounced the Kentucky and Virginia resolutions. Clasping his hands and swaying unsteadily, Henry declaimed, "Let us trust God in our better judgment to set us right hereafter. United we stand, divided we fall. Let us not split into factions which most destroy that union upon which our existence hangs." Right? So that's what's happening right now. Their whole union, their whole existence is fracturing because they are splitting into different fractions. As I just pointed out, with the different states, for basically what's happening, and some states not for what's happening. We have a lot of that going on. With the different things that are being implemented in the world. We had some states saying, we're for the shot, the shot that happened in 2019, and he has some states saying, "No, we don't want that." You know, some people okay with lockdown, some people not okay with lockdown. So there's a lot of division happening in these last days that we can see. Once again, united they stand, divided they will fall because they are going to fall as prophesied. It says at the end of his oration, Henry fell into the arms of bystanders and was carried almost lifeless into a nearby tavern. 2 months afterward, he died. So some guy basically quoted it, and then he ended up later on dying. During his successful campaign against Stephen Douglas in 1858, Abraham Lincoln gave a speech centered on the House divided analogy to illustrate the needs for a universal decision on slavery across all states, and we all know how that worked out. Since 1942, this phrase has been the official English language state motto of Kentucky. On the Missouri flag, the phrase is also written around the center. All right, so the Missouri flag, the phrase is written, and on the Kentucky motto is also written. And here's the seal of Kentucky. The seal of the Commonwealth of Kentucky was adopted in December 1792. Since that time, it has undergone several revisions. The current seal depicts two men, one in buckskin and the other in more formal dress. The men are facing each other and clasping hands, right? Pretty much. But you can see here, united we stand, divided we fall, and they will fall. So that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to point it out. We get this word nomen omen right here, and basically, as the name suggests, the name of the object or person is a clue as to their character, right? And the character of America, Babylon the Great, is confusion, division, just craziness all over the place, right? Pretty much. It's also, it says borrowed from the Latin nomis es omen, which we can get it. The name is a sign. The name speaks for itself, right? Pretty much. And then it has some stuff I think that was like just added. I checked when it was edited. It said last edited on January 1st, 2023, and that's pretty recent. And I don't think pretty much anything needed to be added in this. But anyway, that's the point I wanted to get. The name is a sign. The name speaks for itself, right? And like we said, united we stand, divided we fall. So I got some and also okay, so that's what it made me think about too. It also made me think about Daniel, the second chapter regarding the iron and clay. Daniel, uh, interpreting the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, right? So I'm gonna just get to the point. Um, yeah. All right. So the king's dream. So basically, the Nebuchadnezzar was trying to get the dream, and none of his people could answer it. But of course, Daniel is gonna answer it for us here. Daniel 2:31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass. And also, Slakia, which means sorry. Um, I did a video, my last video. Um, it was called. I don't want to mess up the audio or nothing. One second. Yeah. So, Man of Sin revealed. I did that video, and I believe if I remember correctly, I started talking about the dry bones, and I believe I said the dry bones was in Ezekiel 38, but it's actually in Ezekiel 37. So I just wanted to bring that part out. If anybody watched that and sees that, it was an accident. All right, so now let's get back to what I was talking about. Um, we was here. Just read it again. Start over. Daniel 2:31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee. Oh, and that's what I was gonna say. So I basically did the last video explaining like the four kingdoms, and this is also going into that pretty much. You know what I mean? So it's pretty much the same thing, just a different point. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thigh of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. And that's pretty much the point of this, because that's the last kingdom, but we're gonna get it. It says, Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Right. So let me get these precepts regarding, like I said, part iron and clay, which is a house divided cannot stand, because that's the point I want to point out. The title of this video is called United They Stand, Divided They Will Fall. So get Mark 3. Uh right here. This is just some precepts to the fact that, you know, what I was saying. Mark 3:23 says, And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan rise up against himself and he be divided, he cannot stand, but have an end, right? And we know that Babylon the Great has an end, right? And I got that scripture pulled up here. Right here, you seen it earlier. It says, Second Esdras, We got Second Esdras 6 and 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." And what we're going to get into is this is Esau's kingdom, Babylon the Great. We're in the last kingdom Esau's ruling, and he is the end of the world, right? And he is divided currently, right now, 2024. A lot of things are happening. A lot of prophecies are happening. A lot of prophecies are at the door, about to happen. So we can see that these times are, the time of the Lord is near. Basically at the end of things. So that was Mark 3. This is Matthew 12. Matthew 12 and 24. It says, "But when the Pharisees heard it, they said, This fellow doeth not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the prince of the devils." Like, so basically they're saying Yahushua was casting out devils by the devil, not of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua. He said, "And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?" Right? And that's pretty much what's happening. These people are so, concerned with these little things that they're not unified in their decisions. You know what I mean? So they're basically just, um, simple as that. They're just divided against themselves. That's the whole point of this lesson. And the fact that their name or their slogan is a nomen omen. So Luke 11 and 17. "But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. If Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand? Because you say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub," right? So that was just some precepts on the fact, that a nation or house divided against itself shall not stand. And that's the current phase of things that we're in regarding Babylon the Great. So now let's go back over here to the breakdown. It says the interpretation in Babylon, the first kingdom. Like I said, I just did a video going into the four kingdoms. My last video, you can check it out. Daniel 2 and 36. "This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory." And this is ancient Babylon, because we're in Babylon right now, but this is ancient Babylon. Daniel 2 and 38. "And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven have he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold." So this first kingdom, ancient Babylon the Great, is the head of gold. And then you can see they kind of got the settings, the titles right here: Medo Persian and Greece. Daniel 2 and 39. "And after thee shall another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth." So after that first kingdom, the second kingdom will come, which is the Persians. Sorry, 1 second. So which is the Medo Persians and the Greece. And then you have Dan 2 and 40. "And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdueth all things. And as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise." And then, so now the last kingdom, which is Rome. "And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken." Like I said before, that was the point. This is a kingdom partly broken and partly strong, and that's because of the division amongst the rulers of this place. The different governors and things like that. As we can you know as we can see, because they have different many rulers, senates and things like that, governors, of their of each different state. They even their beast system. you know we have NATO and things like that, the European nations that are upset about certain things also and don't agree, like putting sanctions on certain places like Russia and things like that, because it also affects them. So we got the nations upset, so everyone is divided, and that's going to be one of the reasons that leads into the destruction also. And it's right here in the scriptures: partly strong and partly broken. So this is one of the key points of why Babylon the Great is going down. along so many other things, pursuing uh, the children of Israel with the sword, and had a perpetual hatred for us, and did not, basically leave us alone pretty much. A lot of different reasons that this place is going down. So yeah, that was pretty much the point with that. Let's get right here, which I like because I was reading Micah earlier today. Yeah, right here. Daniel 2:35. Then it was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together and become like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, right? So basically, I got the precept for that. Well, I have a precept similar to that, describing the threshing floors. This is Micah 4:11. It says, "Now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, Let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion." Right. So it's these nations are gathered against Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, and I got a precept of the different nations here. This is Psalms 81. Sorry, this is Psalms 83:1. It says, a song or psalm of Asaph. Keep thou not silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom, and the Ishmaelites, and Moab, and the I'm going to butcher a lot of these names. Hogrins, Jebel, and Ammon, and Amalek, and the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre. Asher also is joined. Ashur is also joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot, Selah. So basically, these are just listing the different nations of people, which is all of them that are gathered together against us, the nation of Israel. It says, now, Micah 4:11, now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, Let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of the Lord, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughters of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy hoofs brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will concentrate their gain unto the Lord, and their substance unto the Lord of the whole earth. Right? And right here, let's get it. So it says, swathed a row of fallen grain. So basically, what we can do is look this up really quick, because I mean the video is going pretty long. 1 second. A threshing floor is of two main types: a specifically flattened outdoor surface, usually circular and paved, or inside a building with a smooth floor of earth, stone, or wood, where a farmer would thresh the grain, harvest, and then winnow it. Right? So it's basically a place where you separate the wheat from the straw, whatever, and it's like dust. It's pretty much nothing. It's easy to sweep around and move around and things like that. So that was pursuing to this right here. It says Daniel 2:35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken into pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floor. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stones that smote the image became a great mountain and filled up the whole earth. And I actually didn't even break this down really. Um, so basically, this is talking about the other nations, the other kingdoms that was up in power, but they're going to be placed out of power and their place removed, their high position of power removed, right? And they're easily swept away, just like the flour or the grain or stuff that came from the stick, basically. And okay, I'm gonna get this part right here. This is Daniel 2:44. It says, In those days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain, right, in the beginning, right here in 31, or yeah, that thou sawest till that a thou sawest in Daniel 2:34, thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. And that's our Lord Yahushua coming back, to redeem his people and take down this last kingdom and set up this everlasting kingdom that we will rule in, and we will rule over the heathen nations, right? For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God, Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, have made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. And the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Right, so this will happen, and it's going to take place. We're now currently in the last kingdom, and basically a lot of things are happening. You know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? So basically repent, turn back to our Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and pray, fast, because the days are at hand. With that, I want to say shalom.